Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for today. So let's talk about Teladoc. Next week, July 27, they will report earnings. But let's talk about what happened today. Well, I'm making this video on Thursday, so if you want to take another day, today, when the market opens, the stock actually went down, crashing around 8%. And there is a very, very specific reason for that. And that's a reason that has been feared and put into some bear thesis in the past. And that's obviously related to Amazon. Now, this move by Amazon, as you can see right here, is a pretty good one and something that, well, we should have seen coming for a while. So Amazon and One Medical signed an agreement for Amazon to acquire, well, that same company for around $3.9 billion. So it says here Amazon will acquire One Medical for $18 per share in an all-cash transaction valued at approximately $3.9 billion, including One Medical's net debt. Completion of the transaction is subject to, well, customary closing conditions, including approval by One Medical's shareholders and regulatory approval. Now, I don't see why the shareholders would not approve this because, well, even if the stock price of One Medical jumped around 69% today, it is still lower than before COVID hits. So Amazon is maybe paying a huge premium from yesterday's price, but it's still cheaper than before the pandemic. Now, what does that have to do with Teladoc? Well, as you know, we've talked about Teladoc in the past, and Amazon, actually in the last video about Teladoc, I mentioned that Teladoc and Amazon, actually Alexa, partnered up to, well, offer that service where you can just use your voice and your Alexa device to use Teladoc services. So how does this work now that they've partnered up with Amazon, with Alexa, and now that Amazon is acquiring another company, which is semi a competitor with Teladoc, but not completely. So let's first look at what One Medical actually does. So One Medical is a human-centered, technology-powered national primary care organization on a mission to make quality care more affordable, accessible, and enjoyable through a seamless combination of in-person, digital, and virtual care services that are convenient to where people work, shop, and live. Now, this might seem similar to what Teladoc does, and obviously when you talk about telehealth, telemedicine, and, well, you go into digital, you go into, well, those online, let's say Zoom calls, appointments, etc. Everybody actually looks a bit of the same, but as you know, Teladoc is doing much more than that, and also One Medical is a bit smaller than Teladoc. But let's continue here. A little quote from Amazon's SVP of Health Services. So we think healthcare is high on the list of experiences that need reinvention, and I think most Americans can agree with that. Booking an appointment, waiting weeks or even months to be seen, taking time off work, driving to a clinic, finding a parking spot, waiting in the waiting room, then the exam room for what is too often a rushed few minutes with a doctor, then making another trip to a pharmacy. We see lots of opportunity to both improve the quality of the experience and give people back valuable time in their days. We've talked about that specific aspect actually in the very first videos about Teladoc. It's about how much time you lose when you go to an appointment, how much time that is worth in money terms. And then if you remember in one of the last videos about Amazon, we've talked about their biggest moat, which is Amazon Prime. What is basically Prime? It's basically, well, offering you a super good service. Let's take Prime for the retail, for example. We've talked about even if they raise prices, even if they eliminate Amazon Basics, you will still be buying stuff on Amazon, even if it's a bit more expensive than before, because you do not have to go to the store, you do not have to go out of your house, wait in line there, see maybe if they have or even if they haven't that product that you're looking for. So Prime is basically a service that saves you time, and time is money, so it saves you money as well. And it's exactly the same thing here. This might be another addition to the Prime mode for Amazon. It's basically becoming a live subscription. And now before I touch on a couple of things with regards to Teladoc and looking at their earnings estimate for next week, if you want to support this channel, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor and do check out all the other links down in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, I do want to mention something, and that's very important here. Teladoc was never going to be, well, the sole player in telehealth, telemedicine market, right? It's a huge market, especially in the United States. So in my opinion, the fact that Amazon is pushing towards that, Amazon, Apple, I think Google as well, Microsoft probably as well, the fact that those big players are pushing into that market just shows that what Teladoc is doing is something that the big guys should pay attention to. Now again, remember, Teladoc, you should not really focus that much on the direct-to-consumer business, even though that's also an important part of the business, but it's more about the business to business, the infrastructure, the platform that they're building, that they're going to sell and provide to those huge institutions, hospitals, for them to use that to to give better experience to those customers, to those patients. Very important to remember that. All right, so first up, let's talk about something that Piper Sandler said not so long ago with regards to Teladoc's Livongo app's download. So they talked about the statistics there. By the way, this is on Seeking Alpha. As you know, a lot of their articles are behind a paywall. So if you want to upgrade to a premium one, and the same thing will happen when we look at the earnings estimates, a lot of those things are blocked. So if you want to, unlock them, there is a link down in the description to get a discount at checkout. But if you just want to enjoy this video, you can just stick around and enjoy all the content that is behind that paywall. So Piper Sandler said that an analysis of downloads of Teladoc's Health Livongo app indicates that Q2 2022 results for the chronic care business should come in line. You remember last quarter was a complete disaster and, the stock was crushed. In addition, another analyst here noted that since the beginning of July, there has been a modest acceleration in downloads. The analyst is overweight on Teladoc with a $42 price target, which is, the price the stock is at today, I believe, or just below that. All right, and now for the earnings estimates and earnings revision. Do pay attention again, because most of this stuff is behind a paywall. So upcoming quarter's earnings, what is to be expected? So EPS gap estimates -64 cents, normalized estimates -59 cents. And we had, 6 EPS revisions in the last 90 days on the way down. And this basically visualizes these down revisions for earnings per share since January 2021, quite a lot. We had a little rebound here in April, at the end of April in 2021, but then after the last quarter, again, down revisions, one after the other. But if you look at revenue, that story is a bit different. Everything stayed, let's say, partially flat. Yes, after the last quarter, those estimates were coming down as well. Remains to be seen what happens next week. I have actually a good feeling that this quarter will surprise a lot of people, and maybe in the next ones as well. But then again, after last quarter, I don't really have that much trust in what management says until I look at the actual numbers. Now, do remember that the company said that they expect to grow until 2025 by around 25% or so. If you look now at the year-over-year growth, it's closer to 20%, even a bit less, up until fiscal quarter 4 in 2024. It's still nice. It's still a nice growth, right? 20% year-over-year growth until the end of 2024. I wouldn't say I wouldn't be happy with that. But then again, if not so long ago, management promised that it would grow around 25% until 2025, and now you only get around 20%, then obviously you start asking questions. But then again, remains to be seen what happens, especially after that last disastrous quarter. I still own Teladoc in my portfolio. It's extremely small position, so I don't really care. I have time to wait it out and see what happens. If this quarter and the guidance is completely terrible, then yes, I might sell for a loss and probably add it to my Amazon position, but that remains to be seen next week. Obviously, do share your thoughts down below. Do you still hold Teladoc? What are you looking out for this quarter and maybe in guidance? Leave it all down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button, and I see you all in the next video. Bye bye.